In the military, rank is everything. It defines your authority, your responsibilities, and even how you're addressed. But what happens when someone mistakes a high-ranking officer for a junior member? Let's dive into a story from an award ceremony that turned into a lesson in respect and humility. Our story begins at a prestigious military awards ceremony. The hall was filled with decorated officers, enlisted personnel, and their families, all buzzing with anticipation. Among them was Sarah, a woman in a simple, unadorned uniform, standing quietly by the refreshment table. She looked young, maybe in her late 20s, and her calm demeanor made her blend into the background. Nearby, a group of junior officers were enjoying themselves. One of them, a lieutenant named Mark, was known for being a bit arrogant. He'd had a successful year and was feeling on top of the world. Seeing Sarah alone, he decided to have a little fun. He swaggered over, a smirk on his face. "Hey, Private," he called out, his tone condescending. "Go grab us another round of drinks, and be quick about it." He and his friends chuckled, assuming she was a new recruit assigned to serving duties. Sarah simply looked at him, a flicker of surprise in her eyes, but she said nothing. Mark's smirk widened. "What's the matter? Didn't you hear me? I gave you an order." He took a step closer, puffing out his chest. "Or are you deaf as well as slow?" His voice was getting louder, drawing the attention of people nearby. Sarah maintained her composure. "Lieutenant," she said, her voice calm and even, "I think you're mistaken." This only fueled Mark's arrogance. "Mistaken? The only mistake here is you not following a direct order from a superior officer. Now, are you going to get those drinks, or do I have to report you for insubordination?" He was now practically shouting, and a small crowd had started to gather. Just as the situation was about to escalate, a commanding voice cut through the tension. "Lieutenant, stand down!" Everyone turned to see Colonel Evans, the base commander, striding towards them. He was a man universally respected, with a stern but fair reputation. His face was a thundercloud. Mark immediately snapped to attention, his bravado vanishing in an instant. "Colonel, sir," he stammered. This private was being insubordinate." Colonel Evans stopped right in front of Mark, his eyes like ice. He didn't even glance at the lieutenant. Instead, his gaze was fixed on Sarah, and his expression softened into one of deep respect. He gave her a sharp, perfect salute. "Ma'am," he said, his voice clear and deferential, "I apologize for my officer's unacceptable behavior. Is there a problem?" The entire room fell silent. You could hear a pin drop. Mark's jaw practically hit the floor. He, along with everyone else who had been watching, was utterly stunned. The colonel, one of the highest-ranking officers on the entire base, was saluting the woman he had just tried to order around like a servant. What was going on? Sarah returned the colonel's salute with a crisp, practiced motion. "It's all right, Colonel," she replied, her voice now carrying a natural authority that had been hidden before. "The lieutenant was just confused." Colonel Evans turned his furious gaze back to Mark. "Confused? Lieutenant, let me clear up your confusion." He gestured towards Sarah. "You think you outrank her? Let me tell you something. This woman outranks you. She outranks me. In fact," he paused for dramatic effect, his voice booming across the hall, "she outranks everyone in this room." A wave of murmurs and gasps swept through the crowd. Who was this woman? The colonel continued, his voice dripping with fury. "This is Major General Sarah Thompson. She's here from the Pentagon to oversee this entire command. She's one of the most decorated strategic planners in the armed forces. And you, Lieutenant, just tried to order her to fetch you a drink." Mark's face went completely pale. He looked as if he'd seen a ghost. He stared at Sarah, at her plain uniform, and then it hit him. She wasn't a private. She was a 2-star general. The realization washed over him like a tidal wave of ice water. He had just committed the biggest career blunder of his life. He began to stammer an apology. "General, ma'am, I had no idea. I'm so sorry." Sarah held up a hand, stopping him. She looked at him, not with anger, but with a look of disappointment. "Lieutenant," she said, her voice firm but not unkind, "rank isn't just about the insignia on your collar. It's about leadership, humility, and respect. You showed none of that tonight." She turned to address the crowd that had gathered. "Let this be a lesson to all of you. Every single person in this uniform, regardless of rank, deserves to be treated with dignity. We are all part of the same team. Never assume someone's position or worth based on their appearance. She then turned back to the mortified lieutenant. As for you, Lieutenant Mark, you and I will be having a long conversation in my office tomorrow morning at 0600 sharp, and you will be reporting to me directly for the next month. You're going to learn what true leadership looks like from the ground up. With that, she gave a slight nod to Colonel Evans, turned, and walked away, leaving a completely silent room in her wake. Mark stood frozen, the weight of his mistake crushing him. He had not only embarrassed himself in front of his peers and superiors, but he had also insulted a major general. The next morning, Mark reported to the general's office as ordered. He spent the next month performing tasks he hadn't done since basic training, cleaning, organizing, and assisting the lowest-ranking personnel. He worked alongside the very people he had once looked down on. General Thompson didn't yell or punish him in the traditional sense. Instead, she made him see the military through a different lens. She taught him that leadership wasn't about giving orders, but about earning respect and serving others. Mark's attitude slowly began to change. He started to see the value in every role and the humanity in every person. He learned humility the hard way. By the end of the month, he was a different man. He approached General Thompson on his last day, a changed officer. "Ma'am," he said, his voice filled with genuine respect. "Thank you. You taught me more in 1 month than I learned in my entire career. I was arrogant and foolish. I promise you I will never make that mistake again. I will strive to be a leader you can be proud of." General Thompson smiled, a genuine, warm smile. "That's all I ask, Mark. Now go and be the officer I know you can be." This story became a legend on the base. It served as a powerful reminder that true authority comes from character, not just the pins on a uniform. It's a lesson in humility, respect, and the quiet strength of true leadership. It shows that you should never judge a book by its cover, because you never know when you might be talking to a general. What do you guys think? Have you ever witnessed a moment like this where someone completely underestimated another person? Let me know your stories in the comments below. It's a great reminder for all of us, in any line of work. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this. We'll see you in the next video.